Good morning. Happy Tuesday, Council Nation. Lion mentality is here on your drive, on your commute, wherever you listen. We've got a good one here for you. We are talking about make or break, end of the line, end of the road, do or die, career and career over, or you got to do something, poop or get off the pot, whatever you want to call it. This is make or break, and we got 5 or 6 players. We want to kind of go over here, have an open discussion, and talk about their fantasy football impact this year. Should you draft them? What should you do? Because their career is literally on the line. On the show, we got the great and powerful Jimmy Maverick, dressed like Charlie Sheen today from 2.5 Men. What's happening, Jim?
Is that how I'm dressed? Well, I'm just rocking the mid-century modern lifestyle down here, and so this is a retro shirt that I have. From a shop. I get ads for them all the time on my Facebook feed, so they know what I like. So
yeah, it looks good, man.
Just being comfortable. It's a comfortable knit shirt. It's very nice.
It looks good. It looks good, but is it as good as these players are going to play? Are they going to play that good this year? We got to talk about this. Is very, very important. Not much in the news to really highlight today, so I don't really want to waste too much time on news. Nothing really in regards to sound bites that jumped out at me. There was a video that came out a day or two ago where I think it was Mike McCarthy saying that he's happy that Zeke is there and that Zeke likes to slap 60-year-old men on the butt and that he kind of enjoys it. And he's like, well, not enjoying the slap, but just kind of enjoying having Zeke there. So that, some of it's taken out of context that Mike McCarthy likes to get slapped in the bum by Zeke Elliott. There might be a relationship going on there. And hey, man, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. But it definitely explains why Zeke Elliott is, in fact, back on the Cowboys, because it's definitely not based on skill or the fact that he's young, hungry, and dynamic and a great player. It's maybe because there's a relationship going on with him and McCarthy. So that video was that I thought it was pretty funny. I wanted to share that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's anything like that. But, it's just kind of like getting the band back together, I mean, I do know that Dak and Zeke are good friends. But, yeah, I mean, geez, I just can't. I can't justify taking Zeke with a top 10 pick. You got to take him in like the 9th or 10th round right now. I think that's where he's going in most drafts. And I mean, he's 29 this year. He was at 3.5 yards per carry last year. He only got 2 rushing touchdowns, something like that. I just don't know what they're going to do. I guess they're just going to pass the ball a million times this year in Dallas because they're not going to have a running game. There's not a running game there. There's no running backs. I don't know what to say about the whole situation down there.
This is really good for Jake Ferguson, by the way, CeeDee Lamb. But let me play you that clip here, guys. Let's give it a listen here. Just give it a quick listen. Let's see if we got audio.
Felt like he never left. But he definitely puts you on guard, because he's old school. He's an old school guy, and he'll go up and smack a 60-year-old man in the ass, and it hurts. So I mean, so it's those kinds of things that you just enjoy him, not that I enjoy getting smacked in the ass, but just enjoy his personality and having him back in the building and things like that.
Yeah, so I mean, that was being quoted out, and people are saying that's not real, and in fact, it is real. But anyway, I don't want to talk about Zeke anymore. I keep talking about him. I'm annoyed with that committee. I'm staying away. All right, so make or break type season. Guys, before we get into this again, make sure you guys do grab the 16-round draft solution. It is being released today. I'm really just doing the video today. I just got to go get a haircut, release the video. I've done the notes. All the sleepers are laid out. So grab the 16-round draft solution. You can secure it below. Make sure you guys add the ticket to the Sports Summit. We're going to have Trey Benson. We're going to have Kyron Williams, Pat Frymuth, Frank Gore Jr., Rashid Shaheed. It's going to be an amazing conference. It's virtual, so you don't have to leave your house. All going to be done online. Secure your ticket to the summit and grab 60 rounds. It's going to be light years ahead of the competition. Secure them both below. Guys, secure it. And also, I've been saying this a lot, Jim. Make sure you guys tap it, slap it, smash it. That is the thumbs up, by the way, to the channel. Really helps the channel. Also gets your line mentality going once you get that tap going. Smash it. I'm excited, man. Fantasy football is back. Who's pumped up? Guys, let us know in the comments how pumped up you are for the season. All right, Jim, without further ado, let's go over the first guy here. Make or break season. The first guy I want to pull up here. I'll pull the name up here. You guys can see it below right here. Daniel Jones, man. I mean, this guy... years to wow us. We're not wild. We were talking about this before the show. This is a make or break season. And now he's got, Malik Neighbors. He's finally got a true wide receiver 1. Can he do something with it? Jim, what are your thoughts on Mr. Daniel Jones?
Well, I just don't see how it could be any worse after last year, to tell you the truth. I mean, this is a guy that really hasn't done anything. On his contract year in 2022, he comes out, he has a decent season, 3,200 passing yards, 700 rushing yards. That's what really saved him. 7 rushing touchdowns, only 15 passing touchdowns with, again, one of the worst wide receiver crews in the NFL. But now excuses are gone, Daniel Jones. I mean, come on. You have got yourself an elite wide receiver 1 to throw to now. And if he doesn't do it, and remember, there was all that chatter pre-draft that they were talking about maybe getting rid of him and going with a rookie, right? That there was a lot of chatter about that. They decided not to do that. So the team's giving him another shot. I think it's generally positive. I just don't see how I'm going to have him on any of my teams as either a QB2 or a QB3. I just don't think it's going to happen. But there is opportunity. It's a best situation for him probably in his entire career as far as passing options goes. So he's got that.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of off-field stuff that he is like under the gun, like he's under the pressure, his back's against the wall, he has to perform. This is the year that he has to do something. Like, that's it. His career is pretty much mush. It's over. End of the line. He's going to be replaced. He's got people breathing down his neck already. Like, he's really on thin ice, and he has to do something, which is really good news for the rookie they brought in. Like I said, Malik Neighbors, he's a guy that I think is going to demand the ball. He's very personable. He's outspoken by the looks of it. He's kind of a guy, he's got the swagger, man. He's a guy that's like, give me the ball. And this could be a good combination in regards to like just that volume going his way. He's got to be fed. So make or break season for fantasy. I'm not going to be drafting him unless we got a dynasty league going where I don't have a quarterback. We're like 4 rounds in. It's a super flex. You know, if Daniel Jones is my last ditch resort because I went robust RB, I actually got Breece Hall and Bijan in this league. So if I end up, he might be my quarterback the pace I'm going because I like to get those skilled position players. But unless I'm really desperate, I need a quarterback. For fantasy, it's a no for me for Daniel Jones for sure.
Yeah, again, I just don't see him on any of my teams, but we hope it works out. And if it doesn't, I got to say, as a University of Colorado fan, Shader Sanders is going to be the QB1 in next year's draft. The Giants can get him. And then we have Sanders and you got Neighbors together. That would be brilliant, but that's not till 2025. So there you go.
All right. Let's move on here. Next guy here is in again, contract year for this guy, and he's got to do something. Is Javonte Williams. Now, looking at last year, average, but again, now he's 2 years removed. So from that injury, is he going to bounce back? Do we trust him? His average draft position's decent. Like, things are looking promising in regards to fantasy football value and a guy that's in a position to succeed. The big question, will he succeed? And they drafted Audric Esteem. I believe he was a 5th round pick, if I stand corrected. They got Julian McLaughlin, who showed flashes. They got Samaj Perine there. Their wide receiver situation is a mess. I think Troy Franklin, rookie, is a good sleeper.
Yeah, and I heard that Samaje is also possibly a cut candidate, so he might not be on the team. So that would be positive for Javonte.
I don't know, man. He's just kind of like a slightly better, because they had Royce Freeman there. Remember the Phillip Lindsay, Royce Freeman combo? I think he's just a better Royce Freeman. I don't see him being phenomenal, being amazing. He hasn't showed us something, that he's just going to wow us. So I could be wrong, but I'm not excited. Can he be viable? Can he be top 10? I don't think top 10. Maybe top 20 if he has a really good year. There is some upside there. There is something that has to kind of engage in his mind to say, hey, I got to do it this year, and it could be fantasy relevant and decent value. Are you in on Javonte for the value? Would you invest in him?
Well, on the positive side, again, being 2 years removed from the injury that ended his season in 2022, and just the fact that it's a contract year. I like to take chances on players that are on a contract year. If he's going to do it, it's going to happen this year. Even having said that, though, he's going to be on a team with a rookie quarterback. This team does not have any real weapons to speak of. I mean, I kind of like Troy Franklin because he already has a relationship with Bo Nix. I kind of like him, but I don't like Cortland Sutton. I think Cortland Sutton's going to massively regress this year.
I think Cortland Sutton is like still holding out. Like, he's not showing up to practice. Like, there's some drama there. He wants to get paid, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, don't pay him, Denver. Don't pay him. He's just not that good. I mean, But anyway, yeah, I mean, every time I start to think like maybe I want to take him, I just don't. I just pass on him. I haven't taken him in any drafts that I've done this year, all the best ball drafts I've been doing. So I'm not sure he's going to end up on any of mine unless he falls maybe a little bit more. I don't know. I have taken a couple of shares of Jaleel McLaughlin just because I did like what I saw out of him last year in that limited work that he got. And I thought, well, I'll take a chance on the younger, more dynamic guy and see if he can do something. But yeah, I'm not feeling good about Javonte this year, even though things are stacked in the right direction for him, that he could do something. So we'll see.
Sitting as RB25 in PPR. Again, the value is decent. I don't know what his overall is. It's after round 6, 7 anyway, I would think. So
yeah.
Like he doesn't excite me. I don't like say, oh, I got to go into this draft and Javonte is a guy I'm targeting. He just years to wow me. And guess what? I'm not wowed. That contract year could make a difference. But again, I'm not feeling warm and fuzzy about anybody we're talking about so far, except for the next two, which let's get roll right into it. Kyle Pitts and Drake London, Dynasty League. He was sitting there, man. He was like kind of the next guy on queue. I needed a wide receiver one because I went by Jan. I went Breece Hall, got the beast. I'm going to run over this league that you're in, Jim, by the way, who went quarterback. And I think you went wide receiver Tyreek round 3 so far. Who's your other quarterback? You went Lamar Jackson round 1. Who was your quarterback round 2?
Jordan Love.
Okay, and then I went Breece Hall by Jay and Breece, and then I went London. So let's talk about
that's a hell of a 1-2 punch you got there in your running back field, man. Getting the number 2 and the number 3 running back on your dynasty team, that's pretty good. I like that. But I went a little bit more conservative. It's a super flex league, so I secured my 2 quarterbacks, and then I got Tyreek Hill on the 3rd, which was kind of a coup. He is an older player though. But to get that first round value in the 3rd round was pretty good. So,
yeah, those quarterbacks are being scooped up like fast. Like everyone's got 2 quarterbacks. I got 0. And I'm okay because there's still like Jared Goff is available. Brock Purdy just got picked up right now because I'm in the middle. I'm round 6 and it's swinging back around round 3. So it's coming back to me round 4 soon. And Brock Purdy just came off on the turn, I think, coming back to me.
I think that's the 20th quarterback that's been taken.
I don't care. I got all the skilled positions now. Now, here's the thing. We're getting into like round 4, 5, 6. These guys are going to be desperate for wide receivers. They're not going to be looking at quarterback. And then I could look at guys that are still available, that are going to be viable, that are going to get me through. So we'll talk about that Dynasty League. We'll keep you guys in the loop on that. But particularly here, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, make or break season. This is it, man. And we're talking contract years, I think, for both of them, right, Jim?
Yeah. Both of them are in their 4th season right now. So... no, I'm sorry. Drake London is only in his 3rd season, so he doesn't qualify as a contract year player yet. But Kyle Pitts does. So yeah,
he's got to do something. So Kyle Pitts, yes, heading into his 4th season, 1,000-yard receiving season, and listen to this, only 6 touchdowns, dude, receiving 6. That's not in a year. That's not in a day. Not in a week. That's over his 3-year career. This guy was touted to be a top dog, man. He was the first round pick in 2021, 4th overall. And I would say years to wow us. We're not wowed. Finally got Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins should come back healthy. He's got to do something. This is a big year for both these guys. They got to do something. And they came out of this draft literally with no competition. They didn't draft another top wide receiver in this. Like these guys pretty much came untouched. They brought in Darnell Mooney, who I'm not really concerned. Rondale Moore, who's like, whatever, right?
Rondale Moore, he's garbage. I do kind of like Mooney as a very late round RB2 that you can get. I think he might be decent.
I don't care. I always aim high on the depth chart. None of those bottom feeders are on my team. So Drake London, Kyle Pitts are set in our prime. So make or break. I lean make for both of these guys, but I still think Kyle Pitts, I don't know. I think more London than Pitts, but it could be Pitts more than London. But you saw what Kirk Cousins has done with Jefferson. Can London duplicate that? And London had respectable numbers last year, and he didn't have a good quarterback. But imagine with Kirk Cousins feeding him like constantly. This is going to be amazing. I think he could be a real special player this year. This is it. This is make or break, man.
Yeah, this is the hope. And this is what's going on the draft board where you see Drake London's going off the board at the end of the 2nd round, beginning of the 3rd round. people are thinking that he's going to make the jump and he's going to make a jump to like Justin Jefferson level, right? But the thing is, he hasn't done that in his first 2 years. He has been the RB 36 and the RB 30. I'm sorry, wide receiver 36, wide receiver 38. Just outside flex value. He's been a total bust so far. But again, new coaching staff, new quarterback, and a much better passing quarterback, a passing system. The volume should be there. I just feel like he's being drafted at a ceiling. Like he's being drafted like he's going to have to pull, Justin Jefferson numbers in order to be worth the pick that he's being taken at.
Round two.
But I do like him. I mean, I think it's if it's going to happen, it's going to happen this year. And if it doesn't, he's Jerry Jeudy and he's garbage, and I'm never going to talk about him again.
Exactly. Me too. And like I said, when I said respectable numbers, just under 1,000 yards, 905 yards, 110 targets, 69 receptions, like decent, but his touchdowns were way low, like 2 touchdowns, unacceptable, right? But again, I chalk that up to bad quarterback play. If someone's going to bounce back, it has to be London and Pitts. I had to put those guys together. Next guy I'm not a fan of. I've never drafted him. I told you to avoid him last year, which is for good reason, because he's always being drafted high for no reason whatsoever, because you got Jamar Chase. He's the alpha. He's the man. You should not be drafting a Higgins, which everyone told you to do last year, in round 2, and he busted. Like I said, he'd bust. And this is a make or break year for him. He's been kind of walking around with a chip on his shoulder, didn't seem satisfied. Looks like he's going to be retained with the Bengals. Bengals improving their O-line, early draft capital on an O-line guy. Joe Burrow coming back healthy. He's going to be viable. He's going to be good. He's going to be safe. He's still not the alpha of the team, but he's got to be good enough to save his career. But he's always going to play second fiddle to Jamar. And I don't think he likes that, man. I don't think he likes that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a limited situation. He just doesn't get a lot of volume. I mean, last year he only played 12 games, got 76 targets, but the prior seasons he was at 110 targets, right in that range every single year. And and for where he's going in the draft, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth the pick. And he's still so high on the draft board. He's still going top 50. And I don't know why they have franchise tagged him. So, he's basically on a contract year and he seems a little disgruntled. I don't know, man. I'm just not seeing the upside here. I'm just not seeing enough volume, barring something happen to Jamar Chase, which I don't think will happen. So, it's just a situation where it's like, he's not going to be on any of my teams. There's still wide receiver ones at pick 50. You can get them. So take those instead.
Problem with Higgins, I got to ask you this because this is something that I ask myself. And in the comments, guys, let us know. I really want to answer this question. Can he be a true wide receiver 1 on his team? Because he's kind of put in this jar, in this box of you're only going to be a 1B or just a 2A, like a top tier wide receiver 2. And that's always because of the Jamar Chase shadow. I would say no. I don't think he can be, but can you put him on a team where he is the clear-cut 1? I think he's just like that borderline guy. Do you think he's going to be a top tier guy if fed the volume? I think he has potential, but
yeah, I think he could. And I was really hoping that he would get traded. There's a lot of wide receiver needy teams. It would have been great to see him go to a place like New England or something like that, to be paired up with a new quarterback and be the one on that team. But it didn't happen. He's still, he's still at Cincinnati, at least for this year. But we'll see what happens next year. We'll see where he goes.
Yeah, but can he? So you think he can be like a Jefferson good if given the volume?
I think. Well, I don't know if he could be Jefferson good, but he could be a wide receiver. He could be an elite wide receiver 1. He was drafted as an elite wide receiver 1, but then they drafted Jamar Chase the next season, and so it never happened. But still, I think he has the potential. He has the talent. I think that he could do it if he was given the opportunity.
Yeah, 2020 round 2 pick. He's had 2 1,000-yard receiving seasons in 2021 and 2022. If given the volume, he has some upside. But for me, not a true wide receiver 1.
Not for this year.
No, last guy here, and that's why he's probably disgruntled, by the way, because he's always in the shadow. Last one here is Najee Harris, contract year. He's frustrating, man. He's a frustrating guy. Had a good rookie season, 1,200 yards, whatever he had. He's a good player. I don't know, man. He's just lackluster. Now, I don't
think you could call him a good player. I think we could call him an average player that gets a lot of volume, right?
Yeah, I think Warren's going to dip into that this year, but how much is the big question? I don't like the fact that Arthur Smith is there. Just disaster, man, with him, what he did with Arizona, with Atlanta last year. I don't know, man. Najee, his value is better this year. I just don't feel like he's another guy. I'm just going to be fading. I just don't feel warm and fuzzy to say, hey, man, I got to have Najee on my team. I'm going to feel warm and fuzzy with Najee on my team. No, I don't feel like Najee is a guy that I'm targeting this year just because over the years we've seen him just look lackluster, not look explosive, look kind of boring. And with Warren there stealing a bunch of the receptions, man, he's going to get more and more integrated. And then you've got, the new quarterback switch change. It's like, dude, I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it. But he could eat. This is the year. And he was, and I want to note, he was playing angry at the end of last year. Like you could see that he was hustling a little bit more. And I think it's because he's motivated a little bit.
Well, they took the starting job away from him, and then he went and he took it back by the end of the season. But he always seems to start off really slow. That's one of his big issues. Is he always has this lackluster first half of the season, and then he really comes on in the second half, and he does all right. Now, frankly, I kind of like the situation. I mean, we know Arthur Smith. We know what kind of offense he's going to run. And if Najee Harris is the lead back, that's pretty good. I mean, where he's going in the draft, I mean, he's going in like, I don't know, the seventh round right now or eighth round. And just imagine if you could have gotten Bijan in the eighth round last year, you would have been really happy with what he did instead of in the first round where you're really annoyed and disappointed with what happened. But if that's the kind of volume that Najee Harris could see, I think he's going to be great. And, it is going to be strictly on the ground, strictly goal line. I believe that, the other running back is going to take almost all of the passing work. He already has. He's already taken like 75% of the passing work away from Najee. But it could be a pretty good position on a run first team. This team is clearly going to be run first. I like it. I think I'll take a chance on him again this year for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the values there, sitting as RB26 amongst running backs, 149 attempts were to Jalen Warren last year. That's a lot of attempts for what we should be considering a scat back. It's almost kind of like 255 for Najee compared to 149 to Warren. You got to anticipate that Warren, based on last year's 5.3 yards per carry, he actually had 4 rushing touchdowns too. So they were using him, man. It's going to be like a 1-2 punch. So I was thinking more towards Najee, but it could actually kind of, his 255 attempts from last year could be diluted a little bit more with Jalen Warren, because Jalen Warren is a good player, man. He's a good player, and he's going to be a pest if you're a Najee owner, and I think you're going to be annoyed. But for the value, like you said, man, RB26, that's pretty good for a guy. And because, again, we're running this into this committee situation everywhere, and I'm not saying Najee is Jahmyr Gibbs, but you got the same situation.
Oh, he's not Jahmyr Gibbs. No, not at all.
But what I'm saying is that it's still a committee, and man, I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I wish Montgomery wasn't there. Gibbs would be my 1.01 everywhere. I'd be drafting him everywhere. Montgomery is going to be a pest. And if you're going to deal with a pest, I'd rather get a guy in the 7th round like Najee than get a Gibbs in round 1 where I got to deal with Montgomery stealing away 200 plus attempts. Do you know what I'm saying? It's almost like you're drafting Gibbs to be like the Warren of this group with more running upside, a better play. Because if you look at the numbers, man, it's like Gibbs is the Warren and Najee is the Montgomery. Same thing. Do you know what I'm saying? That's how it looks like on paper.
Right.
But yeah.
And the other thing to know is that Najee Harris, they declined his 5th-year option. So that's kind of a negative. It doesn't possess a lot of confidence, but then on the other hand, they might just run him into the ground. And so I'm comfortable taking a chance on him and where he's going in the draft, because if he gets the 220, 250 touches, he's probably going to be fine for fantasy, and he's going to get the goal line work and he'll get the touchdowns. I mean, he's gotten 7 or 8 touchdowns every single season. That'd be a good result, and he could be a solid RB2 for the upcoming season. And I kind of see it with Jalen Warren and Najee Harris as more like, it's kind of like the Zeke Elliott, Tony Pollard combination, where both these guys were actually pretty good for fantasy. And I think kind of the same thing here with Najee and Jalen Warren. And these guys are guys that are way cheaper on the draft board than Zeke and Tony Pollard were when they were playing together. So, I think both can be good for fantasy. But I'm fine drafting both. They're going to run a lot. This is going to be a run first team, so there should be plenty of volume for both.
And for the record, I'm not comparing Najee to Jahmyr Gibbs, but let me explain something here. Harris, 255, so he's kind of like the Montgomery in regards to attempts last year. 149 attempts for Warren, okay? Now, let me put this in perspective here just so you know what I'm comparing, right? Detroit, 182 attempts for Jahmyr Gibbs, 219 for Montgomery. So, on paper, based on attempts, if you're just looking strictly at attempts, now mind you, Jahmyr Gibbs had way more rushing touchdowns, Montgomery had more rushing touchdowns, more fantasy points seem to be had on Detroit, obviously. It's like Jahmyr Gibbs is Warren and Montgomery is Najee. So based on that analytics, when I extrapolate that, if that's, I'm using big words here, I don't want to invest a first-round pick on Jahmyr Gibbs, knowing Montgomery's going to hoard away 220 attempts. I would love to see more Gibbs this year, but I'm going to be annoyed. Okay, with Montgomery. That's how I feel on that situation. So to wrap this up, Najee Harris, good value. His lackluster performances in the past are turning me off him, and I just think there's going to be an increase in Jaylen Warren production to turn me off of this situation, no matter the value. So I don't know. I might put him in 16 rounds as a value, but not my go-to choice in whatever round he's coming off of, 7, 8, wherever he's coming off. That's it.
All right, cool.
All right. That's it, guys. So, make or break Daniel Jones, Javonte Williams, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, T. Higgins, and Najee Harris. Are you guys drafting? Let us know below. Grab the 16-round draft solution. Hope you guys had a great drive with us, commute, wherever you're listening to us. Every morning, 7 a.m., I'll be on. Jim will be on. Tim will be on. We're alternating dates. 2 dates with Jim, 2 dates with Tim. And you know me. Can't get enough of me every day. All right, Jim. That's it, man. We're out. We'll talk soon, guys.
Sounds good. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. Have a good day.